Okay, we're ready. Hi everyone, my name is Korci, supporting Rallysimfans, and we are going to talk to Nikolay Gryazin, a young and famous Russian rally driver who currently competes in World Rally Championship 2. Hello Nikolay, and welcome to the virtual Monte Carlo Rally organized and hosted by Rallysimfans. It's an honor having you take part in our competition, and also we are glad that you could agree to an interview. International rally events are really popular in our RBR community. What is your take on? Sorry, yes. What is your take?
I want to say hello for everyone, for all competitors, and for sure I will now wish you good luck, and really like that a lot of people start to involve in our simulators in Reaching Burns Rally. So keep pushing, and I hope for the future this game becomes like more professional side, and we're gonna crash all other sim racers in other games.
Yeah, we are hoping about that too. What is your take on the first race of this season?
For the first race of the season,
Of your
it
race?
was like my race in Monte Carlo. I mean,
Yes.
yeah, it was for me. It was like more race for experience because, as you know, Monte Carlo is quite complicated race. Not because of the some specific roads. It's more related to the road conditions because it's normal if you go for the stages. It's not like in the game when you are coming for one stage and you have full snow. You go on another stage, you have full dry. You just go on one stage. It might be ice, it might be slush, it might be dry, wet, and after you will have, for example, the stage fully dry, and it's really complicated to find the proper tire choice, and it's really difficult to represent sometimes in simulator, because otherwise it will be difficult for the drivers to feel it, because normally when you drive in simulator you don't feel everything on the car, you just work more by your eyes, and it was really like more experience for me on this race. That's why I'm also didn't count the points for WRC2 championship, because you never know. It's a race where you can just start to push a little bit on some difficult surface and lost a lot of time. So we will decide to just go for experience, and also we were trying to improve with each days. It was not easy, but for the last day it was much funny, much more enjoyable to drive.
Nice. What is your preferred surface type?
Difficult to say. Normally, I started my career in gravel. It's like gravel in Latvia, Estonia. It's more sandy gravel that you are able to drive with a big sideways. And here in Latvia and Estonia, it's really high-speed roads. So I prefer like more faster road, neither slow roads, because slow roads is not too much in Latvia and Estonia, and also we have a lot of jumps, so that's why also for me was funny to drive in Rally Finland in the past, because it's really nice to jump, to fly on a car. It's also difficult, you need to feel the weight of the car, how to rotate the car before jump, and how to land correct, so a lot of things to work with. But after I would say tarmac also is nice if it's like if you have flowing tarmac which are give you right rhythm, so you're able to push, because normally on a tarmac you need to also find a good setup for the car, not sometimes which you will feel better, but sometimes you need to find the setup for really good pace. On the gravel sometimes you just can make the car which you are like comfortable to go and to push really fast. And for Monte Carlo, it's different. For example, in Monte Carlo, you need to find the setup for comfortable. If you will find the setup for example, on a test for one road, for the race, it will be different surface, and you will lose the time because you will be not confident on the car. So yeah, I would say gravel is still a top one for me. I like it, but also, for example, some gravel on a Sardinia, for example, it's quite complicated for me because it's different surface. It's not sandy, it's more like rough, and it's much difficult for me to show the good pace as I can show in like Estonia or Latvia. For example, Poland gravel is also more related to Latvian gravel, to Lithuanian gravel, so it was more easier for me to push there. And tarmac, for example, like if you have Spain tarmac, which is flowing without big cuts, it's really nice and enjoyable to drive. But whereas you have so flowing tarmac, so clean, it starts to be really difficult with the competitor sides because everybody starts to push, and here you need to have really good pace notes and really nice setup of the car to show the best results. But for example, in a Barum rally, there you need to really have a car which are stable, which you're comfortable with, and really big balls. So that's why sometimes in Czech rallies, it's you mean I would say you going faster if you really have a balls to push there, because there's a lot of bumpy dirt places. You need just know how to go through that. It's not like driving in Spain tarmac where you have everything understandable, where the grip are still stable. In a bottom rally, for example, you don't know. In some places it will be good grip, in some places it will be little stones which are giving you more slippier conditions.
Even though you are still young, your achievements are quite substantial. You've had some episode wins and you are also racing in the SRT team currently. When have you discovered sim racing and since when have you been competing in it?
I would say, yeah, I started quite late in driving career because normally I didn't want to do racing before, but after I tried once in 15 years old in like was circuit racing, and okay, in circuit racing was funny. It was nice for me to drive in the Russian championship, and after I tried in 16, I guess one racing rally, and after I say maybe it's time to try it also because you feel more adrenaline and it's really more exciting to drive through the stages which you are not remember, like in circuit racing. And I think for every guys who are driving in rallies, they like it more because you have more adrenaline because you never know what will be under the corner, and it's like more funnier, more exciting, and you really it's some challenge for you. And also when I started to do rally, I mean maybe on the second season, I hear something about rally simulators, but I know only like Dirt Rally and something like this. But some people told me that you can try Richard Burns Rally. When I saw some video on YouTube, I say that Richard Burns Rally looks like an old game, and the car like vanilla RBR, it looks like really not a serious one. And after I say okay, my one of my friends invited me at home to show the RBR, and he showed me some like for that moment maybe it was NGP 3 maybe, so it was new generation physics with like proper R5 cars. We tried it in a Humolamaki stage, and I drove and I say okay, it feels okay, but okay, filter of the wheel was not the best, and I feel like car is not precise enough. After I started to search how to solve it, and after I started to play at home with the Logitech wheel, just standard one, it starts to feel like yeah, it's these physics are quite similar. Still not the best, but it's really similar. And after with each years, I start to invest more money in cockpit. I bought a proper steering wheel from SimCube, some sequential gearbox, handbrake, and also I bought quite good brakes, which are like pedals set, I will say. So now I have fully workable simulator at home. And more important, what I really like suggesting to everyone, and I'm also using at home, it's VR. I know that maybe someone will thought it's quite expensive, but for me it's more expensive and more difficult to have triple screen. for me, triple screen is you need to adjust it and a lot of stuff to do. But for reaching Burns Rally, there exists some plugins for VR, and if you are using VR, it's much more interesting. I mean, you feel the car really more because you see the slidings of the car, and you can play with that. Even when you are just jumping sideways, for example, you can look in direction where you're jumping, and you start to feel the car more easier, and you getting faster and faster, and it's more good for training in a reality. So you will after that feel it like in a real car. What I don't like in triple screens, for example, because they are, if you want to make it completely proper way, you need to adjust the left and right screen with a different point of view, so it's different angle. So front screen starts to be in one angle, and side screens are coming with another angle, and it starts to be quite problematic, because when you go sideways, you can also, maybe if you have it, you can notice it. When you go sideways and you look in a side screen, the image, like footage, let's say the road going slower, it's not correct, because it starts to feel not correct how the speeds are coming. So it's more difficult to understand when you need to counter steer the wheel to make the car straight again, for example. So I really suggest, if you are like uh, getting the money and you want to buy something proper for training, it's really important to buy the VR. It's really, from my side, I would say it's top one what you need to have on sim racing. Not good pedals, not good wheel, but really VR. It's gives you more information how the car goes, which are in which position and which angle you have during the stage. Maybe for circuit racing it's not so important, because normally you are driving just a straight, you don't have big slidings. But if it's in rally, VR is quite good one.
What kind of VR have you experienced with?
I have at home in Moscow, I have HTC Vive. It's like the standard one, and it works okay, but it's quite massive because you have like two sensors, which are quite. You need to adjust it every time. I started with Oculus Rift Developer Kit 1, I guess, yeah. After it was Developer Kit 2, I missed it, and the best one which I had, it's like Oculus Rift, just CV one for everybody if you're not developer. And it was nice. It has one sensor which goes in front of you, and it works fine with RBR. With RBR, it works really good. After I reached burned, I bought Oculus Rift S. It's really the best one because you have cameras which are, you can not use the sensor, so it's like understand where you are just from the cameras. But with the Rich and Burns, it starts to be a little bit complicated, because you need to have good video card for that. And also the plugin for VR, it's quite old. It's not updating, so for new VRs might be something will not work properly. So if you want to play with VR, my suggestion also to buy which are sure will be work 100%. You just need to speak with the guys in Discord who are has which people has VR, because normally if you would buy something like professional VR with high resolution, it might be not works in RPR.
Thank you. And can you use sim racing like this to help prepare for live events, and you can transfer live racing experience to the simulated one?
I would say uh, it's definitely helps. For example, you saw my results in semi-team. It just becomes just because I know the stage from the game, not from the reality. Yeah, I did the stage like twice in one way, so it was easier for me. But anyway, it's not. You cannot push so fast on the stage on the third run. But if you are doing it like 100 times at home, it's for sure are giving you really nice feelings. And what I really like in Richard Burns Rally, it's this with the new physics. It's really precise and correct feels from the steering where you have slidings. where you have some bumps. It's, if compared to Dirt Rally 2.0, it's like on Dirt Rally it's like easy. You just turn a wheel inside, it's turn more. But with Rallysimfans Rally, you need to play with the weight of the car, which is really important. But if you need to play with the weight of the car, you need to play it with the setup. You start to also to involve, how to say, you start to work with the setup side. But setup side is also quite similar to reality. Maybe it's in some cars it's different, because in some cars rebound is not so precise like bump side. In other cars it could be different, for example. It depends. But anyway, when you work with RBR with the setups, it gives you really good knowledge how car reacts on this. Also, if you have patience, you can just search what is toe, what is camber, how it works, what is a anti-roll bar, what is the springs, helper springs, all the stuff. If you start to analyze how it works, it gives you really a lot of information. For me, I would say it's the best one in simulators like Rallysimfans Rally. It's the driving skills, because if you drive in a game with the jumps, it gives you really good feeling how you need to jump, because when you jump you also have no feelings on the wheel, how in real life. And there's a lot of things when you have like big bumps on the corner, you have like immediately grip, you need to compensate it, and it really helps, because in reality you will have even difficult in reality, because there will be like lines, ruts, and it's a lot of work, a lot of things to work with. But still, like I have also friends from Germany who are playing RBR with me from 3 or 4 years, and when he drives a normal car in the city, if he has like snow moment or something like this, and he drifts, he never drifted before, but with after the playing RBR and some simulators, he understands that he like in the the mind know how to compensate it. He just if he has some drift, he just understands, oh, and he counter steers it. He don't need to think about it, because he play a lot, and in your games, in your mind, it starts to be like building the connections how it should be. So for sure it helps you for some moments if you need to work with in real life. But for sure in rally it's a lot of small things which it cannot be represented in any simulators. So so for the like I told, first one, the top thing, it's really the skills which are really giving in RBR, but you need to make it properly, because if I know a lot of people just not using the feedback. If you're not using the feedback for better driving to have a good result, okay, it's you will be faster in the game, but it's not gives you proper skills if you want to use it for real life. That's why I have on my channel like little videos where I'm also telling like you need to make the proper filter, you need to make the proper angle of the wheel, like from maximum to maximum, and like I have something like little video of this. Not too much to do, but it's important. If you have no feedback at all, it's not training. It's just having fun in the game and trying to like to be faster and from the other guys. And also the second thing, it's really important you are working with the setup side, because when you are like feels like your skills are good, you can push in the game, you can start to work with the setup, because normally it gives a lot, it gives you understanding how it works. Like how you can improve it, just for example, you have a lot of things to change, you just put, for example, from 40 kilonewtons on a millimeter springs stiffness, and make like from 40 to 20 and see how the car behaves. You will understand, okay, the car starts to be really lazy, but grip is good. Okay, you can try to work with that. You can try to play with ride height. You can make it like drop a lot and feel like, okay, car is feeling better, but you're like bottoming everywhere, jumping on every jump. So you can play with that. Also with the clicks, just play with all range to understand how it reacts. And after that, you will start to understand what exactly you want to what you want for the car. Because normally when I'm doing like hot lap on some stages on RBR, I'm remembering the stage, make a perfect line, and after I start to make the car, for example, softer, I'm trying to find the best grip for the game. But in one moment, if you start to make the car so soft, you will have a problem that it will be difficult just to control the car. It will be so lazy, you will have a big slides, so you start to make a step back to make the car stiffer, and it works with the anti-roll bars to have some specific things. There is a lot of things to work with. Still, I would say I'm not the master of the setup things in RBR. It's still a lot of need to learn, but some moments you can understand. Okay, the car is too stiff. You just make the springs softer or clicks. You can work with that for beginning. And okay, and after you can work with diff sites, but diff sites quite complicated. It's better to find some understanding how the diffs are really works. But if you can also understand how it works, like diffs are giving a lot of feeling of the car.
When and how did you come across the Rallysimfans Hungarian plugin?
I just some of my friends told me that there's exist. I knew from your Hungary plugin quite like far time ago, because I was looking the world records on Sheridan's Head for vanilla cars, and but I didn't know that I didn't know nothing about your plugin. And after my friends told me that you are preparing some really nice plugin, like new one, and I start to follow just to like keep in touch when you will be like ready to perform. So that's why I start to follow. I'm trying now to follow everywhere just to help maybe somehow to make the game better and better. So I would say I'm following a lot of projects that just to understand how it goes with the game, because it's my like I would say not a little target. It's something like in maybe dream to make this game are more better and better for rally drivers, for everyone. For sure, it will be not be for everyone like Dirt Colin McRae, because it's like more arcade game for people who are not professional drivers. But for me, it's important to make this game are the best from the rally simulators, and I really like to how I can help, but I really trying to help somehow, maybe with media side or something else. But for me, it's this game starts to be like the part of my training, and I really curious to make this game really famous on the future.
Thank you. Do you find it easy to use the Hungarian plugin, and do you have any notions regarding it?
I would say I didn't drove too much. It still has something to improve, but I will say there are a lot of guys who are giving feedback, and it just depends on the time. When the guys from Hungry Plugin will prepare everything to the perfect thing, and we'll see how it will go. It depends also of the Czech plugin, if they are trying to compete with the Hungary plugin. If no, I think maybe Hungary will be soon on the top level, and maybe they will even replace the Czech plugin. But let's see. I hope the guys from Hungary plugin will have a lot of patience to work with, because I know it's really tough thing to make some mods and some plugins for such an old game. But I can say for sure that your potential of the Hungary plugin is quite high. But then the guys are really need to push until the end, not give up, and they might have really good results in the future.
Thank you. What do you think? If someone is good at sim racing, could he also perform well on live stage?
I would say if we will compare the guy who are not driving in real life, like not driving on a rally, and they drive and not playing the simulator, and we are taking the guy who also not driving in real life, and he drives in RBR, for example. for sure he will be much faster in the beginning. He will improve and learn much faster, because in a simulator you are learn the basic things which you will learn if you are not playing. You will learn during the test in real life. But if you are doing a lot of things in a game, you already have this information, so you will have like kickstart. You will really improve fast, but after anyway you will be like everyone, when you will need to work with the road surface and you need to read it with the eyes and work with the setup on a real car, and also you need to not to forget that you have real feelings on the car, which are like sometimes fear, some cautions, not confidence, because in game you are every time confidence because okay, it's game, but in real life there's more complicated. But for sure, if we are compare the guy who are doing simulators and the guy who are not doing simulators, for sure the guy with simulators are much faster. But we cannot compare the guy who are doing simulators with the guy who are like driving for some years in real rally. It's not correct to compare. But if we are like compare the two rocky guys, one without base of simulator and one with base of simulator, for sure the guy with simulator will improve much faster.
Okay. And can you give some driving tips to help newcomers improve?
Okay, as I told, you need to use proper steering wheel angle, proper filter. Filter, it's like, if to describe, you need to make the if you are turn the wheel on a 90 degrees in any speed, it should turn on a 90 degrees in a game too. It should not have some smooth filter which are doing it slower or faster. You just need to present your wheel exactly the same like in the game, with no lags, without nothing. It's very important. Second thing, if you really want to improve in real life, also it's use VR. It's really a needed thing. From my side, I can tell it for sure. Okay, pedals. I will say you just need to update the brake pedal, because normally all simulators which are goes like Logitechs and Trustmasters, they go with quite smooth brake, because on a real car you don't have vacuum helper for brake. It's really a tough pedal. You need to force quite high, so you need to make the pedal of the brake quite hard, because you will in real car you will push it heavily. It's not like city car. And so you're preparing your working place, game you have already. You start to play a lot, and you need to compete with other drivers. Try to enroll in some tournaments, or try to read some topics in Discord, like here, for example, just to find what are people doing, some onboards to understand. Maybe you can try to go with this, for example, if you're like completely rocky, you can try it to learn the basics from circuit racing, some like Assetto Corsa, for example. Also, if you're like completely rocky in rally, you can make the Rich and Burns Rally School, which I passed, and it's really nice. I would say it was not even easier for me. And after, you need just to maybe to decide to choose one stage, like school stage, for example, and try to with your friend, or try to find the team in Discord, for example, and try to improve the time. Try to understand how to improve. Ask for this for the onboards. Try to find how do they work. It's really nice if you can find onboards with a Gauger plugin, which are shows the throttle and pedal, because throttle and brake pedal, because you will see how the guys are working with the throttling and with pedaling, because it's very important. When I play with some of my friends, you need to see how the professional drivers work with the pedals, because if you're braking like this, if your bar just jumping, your car starts to disbalance. So you need to make the car every time like rolling smoother, to load the front of the car, to turn. All this information you will find also in the school of the Rich and Burns Rally. So normally you need to really analyze, because if you're just playing, also it's not so correct, because maybe you will learn something which is not correct. But if you will try to find people who are doing really nice times, you will see what they are doing. For sure, the world records sometimes it just depends how much people cut the corners. But in some stages where it's not possible to cut, you can see what exactly they are doing. Also, it's very I would say the guys from Rallysimfans Rally are quite open at also sharing the setups. Also in Rallysimfans Rally Pro, which I'm using, you can find my setups for cars like Hyundai and Polo, even for WRC Hyundai has one. And just to try, I would not say like it's best setup, but you can load this setup and see what's the difference of the car and how it behaves. What I changed from the if compared to standard setup. Try another cars, but really you need to analyze to getting faster. You need to see what other drivers do, why do they do like this, and see how they work with the steering and with the pedals. It's really important, because if you see just a video from outside, for example, it's stupid. From the outside, okay, it looks beautiful, but you need to see how it goes from inside. How do they brake? Because normally the people are braking with the flicks like this, like on old cars, but now it's not important. It's really losing the time, because you are just playing with the weight of the car. You need to work with that, where the people are braking straight, how do they brake, how much they have pressure on a brake. So there's a lot of things to work with, and just analyze, play, and try to get to get faster and faster. Just make the target. Like, okay, today I need to make this stage. For example, uh, I found some video on YouTube for the guy who made the one time. Like, and you say, okay, I need to improve to understand. I will learn how he brakes, and I need to be slower for 10 seconds and try to go faster and faster to catch this time. You make the target, you're happy, you drink beer, and after you just relax and go again. It starts to understand. Because normally to get the speed on one level, like 10 seconds slower from the top time, it's much easier. It's quite easy. But after you will try to catch second per second, it's really difficult. And there will be a lot of patience to work with, because you need to think how to improve, because normally you can be fast, but in some places it starts to be really difficult, because last seconds I will finding in really small things. But anyway, if you need to not to think about top results from the beginning, just make some step-by-step targets and try to go to that. Try to analyze why you cannot do it. Maybe something wrong. Ask people, for example. You can speak with someone who sends a replay and say how I can improve there, what I'm doing not correct. Even myself can answer. If you write me to Discord, I can take a look briefly some onboard and say, okay, here you need to be more faster or slower, and don't sometimes not push over limit when you are like going slower. So it's really needs a lot of patience to go faster and faster. If you are ready to do it, just keep going. Find the motivation, find the targets, and you will do it great.
You mentioned you have videos about setting things up, and also you mentioned that you have some setups for cars. Where can we find those?
I made in my YouTube channel, like you can find it like Nikolay Gryazin, and in YouTube will be some videos where I installing the RBR Pro. It's a plugin for using the RBR Pro like launcher. It's really nice thing and really easy to work with, and you can find maybe the link below if you get it. And just here just registering, playing, and in my video I have some little short moment where I'm showing my filters, because I cannot send you my my filters for SimCube wheel, because maybe not everyone has SimCube wheel. But normally if it's like standard one filter, you just need to put correct one in a game in Richard Burns Rally. I'm telling it in the video. If you will find like Richard Burns Rally Pro install guide, something like this. And after in Richard Burns Rally Pro, you will have like in contents where you are downloading the car, you can find the play like where the car is sometimes pro setups, and where you will find my face with the information. You will find the setup also, so you can load it and I'll play with.
Okay, thank you. So, what's your favorite live stage and what is your favorite virtual one?
I would say the best one which I liked, and it exists in Latvia. It's called like Ventspils stage, but it's gravel one, I would say. Also, I like Fafe stage with the Fafe jump. It's really nice. There's not exist in the Richard Burns Rally, unfortunately. Also, I like the gravel stage in Aunenpoche, but I drove it only. I saw it in YouTube and I saw it in VTB stage in RBR, but in RBR I didn't draw it. Still has no time to learn these 30 kilometers of stages. And but from the tarmac, I would say the best one is still Semetin for me, because it's a really demanding stage, and I did it in real life. I did it in a game. It's really precise. It's really nice. And for now, also I can say that the young who are doing these Czech stages, new stages, I forget the names, but new Czech stages are really nice also. I would say it's so representative, it's so precise. So I really like the stages which are in the game, so precise. And also I like Shirdon's head, because once I have a battle with a Lucky Nuke, and I just learned this stage so good. And Children's Head for me is quite lovely place to play sometimes. Yeah, I would say it's enough. I would say there is a lot of stage which I don't like in Richard's Rally, because it's sometimes so complicated, but a lot of things are really nice. I'm not driving too much some standard stages in the Richard's Rally, but in some additional stages like Portugal, like some Italy stages like Torrevieja, like tarmac one is really nice. Also, yeah, but I will say I will stay with the Czech stages in the regional rallies with really good prepared. All this tarmac stuff. The gravel stages, I will say the Poland I don't like at all in gravel stages in regional rally, because the gravel should be quite grip, but in reality it's not so grip enough. But VTB stages are really starts to be nice. I tried some, and I would say the grip side are represented quite good.
Which cars and categories were you able to test so far, and which ones are your favorite?
In the game?
Yeah, let's first talk about the real ones and then in the game.
If we will speak about rally, it's still only R5 cars I tested. I tested R2 and 4, like Evolution Lancer. I tried Subaru. I don't like Subaru. I would say just straight. I'm not the type of guy who like Subaru because it's a rally. No, I just don't like Subaru really. I don't know. Maybe some rally specific rally cars are good, but all I tried is Evolution much better. And but yeah, I would say R5 cars. It's all what I tested. I once seated in a passenger side on a Hyundai WRC car, and it was impressive. But I never seated by the wheel.
And what about the game?
In the game, I tried maybe all maybe all classes. Also R1, R2, R3 no. R4 in Evolution also I drove. All R5s I tried. Group B I tried. Group A, WRC like old one, like Fabio Octavia, like WRC 2015, like Fords, Volkswagen, And WRC Plus also I tried, but still WRC Plus for me, I cannot say if it represents good in real life, because it's quite complicated to set up the active differential, and some places I cannot say it's precise with the setup side. For me, R5 cars for the setup is good, but WRC Plus in the setup wise for reaching Burns Rally is still quite raw. It's I made even one stream where I have one stream, you can take a look, where I'm working with my engineer, real engineer, and we are trying to find the good setup for WRC car of Hyundai. It's so difficult. I mean, I found something for one stage, but you know, it was like trying to match something. I cannot describe why it works, because normally when you are doing something on R5 you understand how it works, but on a WRC Plus car you're doing something which should go in one direction, but in the game it go other direction. So I would say for now WRC Plus car is still not the best one. Maybe another cars has more better configuration of that, because they are still updating the NGP, but I didn't draw it from the like 5 months, so maybe there is something changed. But I also know that not only me complaining about setup wise for WRC Plus car. And Group B, it's really awesome car for like stages like Humalamaki. They're just flat out. The car is not turning. It's like in real life. The car is so difficult to turn. The suspension not works at all, but you have a lot of power horses, and it's really just for fun sometimes. Also, once I drove with the Yanni on some Fiat, which have only four gears, and it's 140 maybe the top speed. It was really nice because just for fun, you know. Also with my friend I drove the Group A1, if I'm correct. It's like Volkswagen Polo GTI MK1, and also fun things. Also it's really fun to work with. Also with the tip for the drivers, if you want to drive faster and faster, try to go from the slower car, because when you have slower car, front wheel drive for example, it's difficult to find the good speed into corner, because if you have a 5 car with a 4-wheel drive and good torque, you can accelerate easy. But when you have no torque, no power, you need to work on the exit, and it also helps you to work with the driving lane. Also, I tried Porsche because I like Porsche, like a car. Like I also drove it in a circuit racing. So for me, Porsche it's really nice, and in the game it's so funny to drive. Also in rally, you know, such car on rally, it's really nice thing.
And what was your favorite R5 car?
In real life, it's
No.
I would say
Okay. Sorry.
in the game or in.
Both.
I would say in real life, my favorite car is for now. I would say it's a Polo GTI R5. It's the best for now. Also, I like it Skoda a lot because I drove too much on a Skoda. It's still quite impressive car, but Polo for me, like for the performance side, it's really nice. In the game, for Rich Rally, I would say Polo not good. In Rich Rally, no. I think soon maybe they will solve it, but the gearbox ratio on Polo in Rich Rally it's not correct, because if you are doing long gear ratio, you cannot make even the wheel spin on the first gear. It's not like in real life, and in some stages you are not even able to compete with the guys on the Skodas. So Skodas maybe for now it's better car for RBR, but I will say I will keep pushing for Volkswagen because it looks really nice. It's so beautiful car, and it's handling really nice even in the game. I would say I was quite surprised because Polo in the game also drives much better like in real life. but the performance from the engine side in the game is something wrong there. But I think I already in contact with worker B. Maybe they will solve it to make the car more like more concurrent on for the other cars, because its car is so fast if it's slow race, slow stages, you make slow like low short gear ratio. But if you have like some Czech stage where you need long gear ratio, you start to lose in the slow corners a lot. And other cars like Skoda and Ford in reaching Burns Rally have more proper gear ratio, which gives you much more better performance from the slow corners. So I hope for the future that it will be solved.
Okay, so what about your plans for the upcoming seasons? Do you have
So
any? Yes?
yeah, my plan's quite straight. We will do WRC2 races, all European rounds, and some races, I guess, in ocean side. I hope we will go for Rally Japan. About Kenya and Chile, I'm not sure because we are not sure if it will stay in a WRC calendar for the future. Because normally it's nice to go there for collecting the points, but otherwise it's so expensive to go there. So you really need to understand if its races are still in the future. If they will be in the future, we will go for ocean seasons, for the ocean races also. And maybe I will do some ERC rounds, because I can use these rounds for preparing for the WRC. But it's still WRC calendar will be the main priority for me. So I will work for each round to have a good result there. So if, for example, they are matching with the ERC, I will prefer more WRC. But if it's like different dates, I can try to go in the ERC2 just to be in a good shape.
Do you have a message for your competitors or your fans?
About?
About anything. I don't know. If you want to mention something or you have a special something special you want to convey.
No, I mean the fans are. Let's make the question again. What I have a message from the fans.
No, for the fans. Do you have
For.
any message for the fans or competitors?
Yeah, I would say the guys. I have the message for competitors who will compete in Hungary plugin with this race in Monte Carlo. For sure, I want to say you good luck, and I hope you will stay focusing on such race and keep focusing on tire choices, because it might be quite difficult. And prepare properly for the race and show the good result. If you have something wrong, if you made the mistake, don't be worried, because if you are making a mistake, you will be more stronger in the future. You just need to understand why you did the mistake. So it's better to make the mistake than to go slower. And have fun. Don't forget, if you have no fun of that, you will not perform. So have fun, analyze, work, and you will be faster and faster.
Thank you. Well, I'm out of questions. Is there anything else you would like to add or mention?
I would say I mentioned quite a lot.
Yes, but
Because I will say it was nice conversation, because I also mentioned about some setup wise, quite a lot of secrets, I will say. But anyway,
yes,
if
thank
there
you.
will be some questions, I can write it more described on text side.
Well, thanks for your time. We're hoping to see you around competing in SimRally with the Rallysimfans plugin and giving chance to your fans to compete against you.
Thank you, guys, and I really excited that you will make this plugin really nice, because I'm also quite upset that the Czech plugin are still quite deadly. It's not updating too much. It's like not at all. So I would say you're really like maybe the future of the RBR. So if you keep pushing like this, like listen all the feedback from the guys and doing it like in a proper way, I think in the real future everything will go for your plugin. Also, in our I'm the part of RBR Pro also, so I think if everybody will start to use your ones, I think everybody will comes to you.
Well, the developers have some plans still and in the development, so look out for our updates, and we'll see you around. Thank you.
Good, and I really like that you will use BTB stages because it's I didn't drove all the stages in RBR yet in GP, but if you will add the BTB stages, it will be really awesome. I mean, it's much more new stages, so it's really I'll say it's really big respect for all of your team because I cannot imagine how difficult to go with that because when I tried to make some mods for RBR with my friends who are programmers, they cannot do it properly because it's too old game to make it proper. So really keep pushing us, and I will try to help you if it will be something which I can help.
Yeah, some of the stages in B2B have been already added, and we are receiving quite a lot of help from other developers as well, who are also helping with the development of BTB stages. So yes, we are expecting progress on that part as well. Thank you very much.
So I will keep following, leading, following for you.
Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting, and I really hope for your future.
Máté, is there anything else you would like to add or ask or something else? Okay, thank you very much and have a nice time. Have a nice
I
evening.
just, I don't remember. I know Siestok,
Yes.
and I also remember Banzik, Bodzmek.
Yeah.
Это такой I learned like on the Monte Carlo.
Yes.
Правый 7 плюс длинный, 7 минус к железке. 80, левый 4 чуть, лед.